A note. Following advice from work-life imbalance may lead to action being taken by HR, your family, the authorities, or higher powers. Welcome to Work-Life Imbalance, an advice show focusing on workplace and lifestyle issues. Any resemblance to actual advice, living or dead, or actual wisdom is purely coincidental. I'm your monstrous manager, Frank Eastman.
And I'm your lovable office companion, Derek Lewis.
Today we'll be talking about work attire in the deep dive before we address some audience questions and issues from the internet. But first, time for the daily
Before we
stand-up.
get started, Frank,
Oh no!
there is a sad occurrence that happened today. This will date the episode a little bit, but I don't think we're too afraid of that. Did you hear about Ermy dying?
I just did.
So you're still processing.
But mere moments ago. I am still trying to process it.
It is unexpected. I know that he's old. Like, he is as old as dirt. Was as old as dirt.
He was only
So I know
79.
Oh, really? I thought he was older than that.
No, unfortunately, he was only 79. So he was like grandpa
Wow.
aged, but not
Yeah.
creakingly ancient grandpa aged.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. You know, it's not like I really keep tabs on him all that much, but yeah, seeing that on my my news feed, I was very sad, and I think I'll probably go and watch Full Metal Jacket soon after this.
You know, I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, it's been a hot minute since I've seen Full Metal Jacket, so I might go watch it.
Like, I've seen the first 15 minutes of Full Metal Jacket 100 times.
Well, that's like
but
the
I probably,
best 15 minutes.
I mean, I absolutely agree. Like, it is the best 15 minutes of the movie for sure. But I would say that it's probably 15 of the best minutes of cinematic history. And I know that's a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, just the banter that they were able to pull off, and the fact that a lot of that was just completely improv, off the cuff stuff. I mean, that is just a testament to his creativity when coming up with foul language.
It was pretty good, and I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, just wanted to get that out into the ether. We miss you, Ermy, and yeah, we will insult each other a little bit less creatively from now on, and that's sad.
Indeed.
Now we can get to the daily stand-up.
All right, I guess we'll get to the daily stand-up. Now, on a total bummer note, though, congratulations for taking this down a dark path.
I'm sorry.
Because what I was going to have for the daily stand-up today was as well ripped from the headlines.
Oh, boy.
Because the news is impossible to escape, and I'm sure that you, too, have had to bear witness to the nonstop reporting on the subject.
The band U2?
No, not U2 the band. U2 the U as well.
I mean, I'm sure Bono has his finger on the pulse of all the political news, but
oh, I'm sure he does. Bono is always part
what's
of the
the other guy?
news.
The Edge? Bono
The Edge.
and the Edge.
I
have
forget.
no clue what... Yeah, the rest of them are completely unbeknown to me.
Yeah.
Or unbeknownst to me. But
U, and then just the numeral 2. I think those are the other members of the band. For whom the band is actually named after. It's just Bono and the Edge get, a lot more publicity because they're a lot more vocal about it.
Right. But no, so not the band U2, me, myself. I got it.
Yes.
Now we're on the same page.
Walden Pond is in disrepair because Walden Pond, of Henry David Thoreau fame, is just chocked to the brim with piss.
What? Okay. break this down for me, Frank. What the fuck are we talking about?
So, in the mid 1800s, the naturalist, philosopher, writer Henry David Thoreau spent some time and wrote a book on Walden Pond.
Right.
Whereupon it was about his time spent at Walden Pond. The book was very famous, and so generations of visitors have been enjoying and swimming in Walden Pond.
Sure, like you do.
And as one does when one is swimming in a body of water, I guess people have been taking giant leaks. To the point that the ecosystem of Walden Pond is completely fucked.
Wow. One small leak for man, one giant leak for Walden Pond.
Is quoted by
man.
Dr. J. Kurt Sager. Findings suggest that although mitigation efforts have curtailed anthropogenic nutrient input, aka pee-pee, Walden Pond, the lake has not returned to the pre-impact condition described by Henry David Thoreau and may become increasingly vulnerable to further changes in water quality in a warmer and possibly wetter future. Which is to say that there will be more pee-pee and also global warming.
Oh, see, I mean, maybe I don't go swimming in lakes all that often or often enough anymore. But, I mean, I'm not going to say that I've never peed in a body of water. But that's not like what I do every time I'm in the water. It's not like get on my trunks, step in the water, okay, time to release all my fluids from my body into this body of water in which I find myself.
Well, isn't that what you do when you go to visit famous bodies of water?
No.
I mean, this could explain why I got kicked out of Vegas. Because all those
just
fountains...
playing in the fountains and just adding your own stream to the wonderful fountain work.
Isn't that man's nature? Is to find something pristine and beautiful in the world and then piss in it?
I mean, by and large, that is what we do. But I mean, that's not necessarily been something I have that I strive for on a daily basis. But am I odd in my assumption that all just because I don't have to drink it, that it's okay to pee in? Like, what are people doing? Like, are they just so overcome with emotion when they get into Walden Pond that they just piddle a little? Like,
I just think it's each person, it's the classic thing. Each person thinks that it's going to be fine if they do it because certainly nobody else is going to do it.
Right.
And now, 100 years later, so many people have pissed in the pool that the fish are all dead. Which suggests to me, like, having read that, I don't think I would set pinky toe in Walden Pond.
Oh God, no!
Because if it's piss laden enough that the fish are dying off, I don't think I would be able to really think of anything else while I was getting all up in there. Like, oh yeah, this water's uncomfortably warm.
I mean, maybe go far enough to like dip your toe just to say, that you have dipped a toe in Walden Pond. Then immediately like pull it out and spray it with Lysol or something. But
I was going to say, but now I got a pee-pee toe, and I don't know about that. That seems less than cool to me.
I agree with that. Oh God, I can just imagine like there's probably like some like a pier or something that you can jump off of, and people are like, "Woohoo! We're in Walden Pond. We're gonna go, do a cannonball and completely submerge myself." And all that little bit of, all that water getting in your nose and your ear and your mouth, all pee-pee. Just 100% pee-pee. Oh, that's disgusting, Frank. That
I mean, there's not a whole lot there because there's a little log cabin, I think, and like some stuff that they put up when they turned it into a historic landmark. But other than that, it's just a pond out in, BF, Massachusetts. And it's just been so many people have come there to enjoy nature and be natural in nature.
God, how much piss do you have to add to a body of water before it literally starts killing fish? Like, that is just a bonkers amount of piss. Like, I cannot wrap my head around how much piss it takes to truly make, because fish are by and large, like, they're not impervious to like climate change and other things like that. It's not like they're just like little swimming tanks. Like they can be affected by this stuff, but like just changes in like the salt content and like extra whatever urea, pH balance, stuff like that. Like it takes a lot of pee.
Well, it's not just
to impact the entire ecosystem.
It's not, it's not like the pee is poison. The pee is food. The problem is that the nitrogen and phosphorus contained in human byproducts is feeding algae and stuff, which is overgrowing and now, killing off all the fish.
That I can absolutely understand, because there have been some lakes that I used to go fishing in as a kid that they had this one algae or something kind of like lily pads, but smaller and bulbous. But yeah, it started like completely overtaking the lake because of like added nitrogen that had been dumped from something. But one little corner of the lake got a bunch of nitrogen and stuff added into it, and all of a sudden, just like an explosion of this, somewhat parasitic plant. And after in the course of just probably 5-10 years, most of the fish are dead. Like not all of them, but a large majority of the ones that you would have caught had you gone fishing there are pretty much well and truly dead. So yeah, I can absolutely see that. And now I understand why you say, the pee was food. That's gross that our pee is plant food. See, and here's the thing, like in all the like a bunch of movies and shows where people pee on plants and they say they're watering it, but people are like, no, you're going to kill the plants. So is that a lie? Like, are you actually like giving them some nutrients that they didn't previously have as much access to?
Well, it depends on the kind of plant, I think. Like specifically, this is feeding algae and stuff, and like too high a concentration of things. Like have you ever heard of burning your grass with fertilizer? So
right.
you add too much nitrogen and phosphorus to the plant too quickly, and it'll actually kill it off. So, you don't want to pee on the plant.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I wasn't necessarily going to like change my habits to where I would pee on any plant that I saw, but I will keep that in mind. And it really gets kind of awkward when you start peeing on like all like the plastic plants, like especially in the office. People definitely have a problem with that.
HR has had a problem in the past, and I've tried to say, hey, I'm just trying to feed the plants here, but no, lost a lot of jobs that way. Speaking of work, want to get to the deep dive?
Yeah, let's get away from the pee-pee. All right, so on the deep dive today, we're going to talk about work attire, specifically a workplace standard that dictates how you and your coworkers are allowed to dress while at the office. It also pertains to like how you dress whenever you're on a client site or whenever you're just on a trip or something like that. They may have standards for things like that, but just generally things that dictate how you and your coworkers are allowed to dress. I think that this has a much stronger impact than most people realize, and maybe it's just because I am me and I don't like wearing businessy clothes. Well, clothes. Period. Yeah, you're right. I put too many qualifiers on that. I don't like wearing businessy clothes. Like even like I had a stint where I worked in an office where I had to wear khakis and a polo, and that was very stifling to me. Like that had a psychological impact on me that it took like 2 or 3 months for me to really realize the impact that it was having on me. But I was like, why do I hate this office so much? And then I was like, oh, because I'm put in starchy, stiff clothes every time I go in there.
Derek needs to be free.
I do need to be free. Oh, no, don't go and make it all gross.
I've seen the Daisy Dukes, Derek.
And I guess the second half of that is with the Daisy Dukes. You have also seen Little Derek.
It doesn't leave a whole lot to the imagination, man.
No, it doesn't. So Frank, in your experience, how much has this kind of work life or work standard of dress affected you personally?
It has affected me personally relatively significantly. Mostly because, as we've discussed previously, I am not necessarily of human proportion.
Right.
And so one of my first jobs right out of college had pretty much nothing in way of a dress code.
Okay.
Which was actually a significant boon for me because it just meant that I could continue wearing my schlubby bullshit from college
right.
without having to go and get a new wardrobe, which just me going and getting an outfit can be a pretty significant bill to drop.
Right.
Much less if I needed to go out and buy polos and khakis and all that and stuff that I'm only ever going to wear at work.
Right,
So
and
that
plus
was a
those
pretty
dress
big boon.
shirts. Those dress shirts, you basically have to buy 2 human-sized ones, split them up the sides, and then kind of sew them together.
Pretty much to account for the extra arms.
You have to be really careful. I did not realize that with your inhuman, superhuman size, you also were Goro from Mortal Kombat.
From Mortal Kombat, yeah, that's me. I did say you're monstrous manager.
That is true. You led with that. So, yeah, it's just I lacked originality in seeing what you truly were.
But it's one of those things where it's like, if I had to do it, I definitely don't mind looking good. Like, I would wear suit every day, but I can't go off the rack. Like, there is not really any off the rack for me, and I have tried.
Right.
And at that point, it's mostly bespoke, and that's
that's not cheap.
$5,000-$10,000 for a really well put together suit.
Right. I'm trying to figure out whether or not that's hyperbole, or if $5 to $10,000 is actually how much some people will spend on a not a Armani suit. Obviously, those things they're super expensive, but a normal suit that fits you well,
I mean,
$5 to $10,000 sounds like a lot.
Bespoke, where someone's putting it together, by hand out of the gate. Yeah, you can easily drop 5-10 on a good suit.
Ooh, baby. Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes me feel even better about my choices to avoid offices that kind of impresses upon their folks. And speaking more generally, I've been in offices where, they've kind of been through a little bit of a transition, where, originally they would have very strict standards and they'd start kind of relaxing them ever so slightly. And this leads to a lot of confusion, both in the employees on, what they're allowed to wear and things like that, but a lot of general confusion, just in what people start showing up to the office in, because some people take or see that inch that they're given, okay, we normally do business casual, which means slacks and a button up or slacks and a polo, and once they relax that a little bit to open the doors to maybe some jeans, some logo shirts from time to time. People can take that and just really start running with it. I am of the short shorts wearing variety. I definitely like shorts. I know that there is pretty much no tangible aesthetic benefit to wearing shorts. Like like nobody is going to say, "Ooh, baby, Derek looked great in those shorts today. I'm glad he didn't hide his pasty white legs."
Here comes Derek with the Daisy Dukes on.
I mean, the Daisy Dukes that I tried to pull off for a little while, though, while tasteful, I do think that those were pushing the boundaries just a little bit too far. So I've seen some weird stuff. Like I've seen guys come in like not Daisy Dukes, but like those really short dad shorts.
Those are uncomfortable.
And there's like really weird like dad sandals where it's not like a standard flip-flop. It's just like a flat piece of plastic with like one strap going like across the foot.
I found out what those are called.
What are they called?
Slides. It's big with the children. Is the only thing that is how I know that. Because my youths came home and were like, maybe I need like $20 for these slides from school, and I was like, excuse me. It's like,
are we talking like projector slides or what are
exactly?
What are we talking about?
And I was very confused, and I had to have my daughter sit down and like literally draw me a picture, and I was like, oh, it's sandals. Okay,
those ugly ass.
Yeah,
things.
Those fucking things.
Yeah, and with the relaxing of the standards, like you also get some people that come in with logo t-shirts and things like that. And most of the time people are aware of what you should and should not wear on your shirt. But, there have been a few times where somebody has had to turn their shirt inside out, just like you did in school. Like, same rules apply. Like if you are at work and, the thing you have on is offensive, like you're going to have to do something about it. Like that's like, if you have like maybe some place lets you wear like a beer shirt or something like that. Like sometimes, there's some beer shirts that are tasteful and no big deal. But if you like, if you wear a shirt for like the Budweiser Boobie Block Party 99, like somebody's probably going to take offense to that. So they're going to ask you to.
99 was good. 98 was much better.
Yeah. But 99 had all those incidents where they really shut it down. So everybody remembers 99 more.
That's true.
Even though the quality was superior in 98, 99, it really blew the doors off of it. And then they shut it down.
We had one guy at the office, at the same office where there was like no real dress code. He came from a much more rigid corporate culture when he got hired. But he was also like a total metalhead.
Nice.
And he started and like showed up first day, button down, khakis, and he goes, "Hey man, what's the dress code like around here?" And I was like, there's not really one. You just need to make sure that you're wearing, clothes.
Clothes at all.
And so he kind of looked skeptical, but at the same time, like everybody else is wearing jeans and stuff. So
right.
like he's wearing the whole button down khaki thing for a week. The next week he comes in, and now it's button down and jeans, and he's like, he's like creeping in, like, is this okay?
We're going through evolutions here.
Am I gonna get sent home? And he's like, are you sure the dress code is cool here? And I'm like, dude, you're wearing jeans. I'm wearing jeans. There's no problem. And then it like went to jeans and a polo, and then eventually it turned into like jean shorts and a Slayer t-shirt. And I was like, finally you have become your true self. You have emerged.
I was about to say, I figured that's where we were going. Eventually it would be just cut off, not even regular jean shorts, like cut off jean shorts and some sort of metal t-shirt.
Yep.
Did he have the wallet chain going on? Like, did he go that far?
No, I don't think he went that far.
Yeah.
But it was just amusing, sort of sitting back and watching the slow evolution of his wardrobe as he like snuck in
I think
each
that's
day.
a cycle. Yeah, I think that's a cycle that that a lot of us, whenever we start a new job, have. Like you go in, obviously you go into the interview, dressed up, to however much, you kind of fit the whatever place you're interviewing at, you kind of fit to them. But typically I'll go in, like I'm not going to go in a 3-piece suit for an interview, but I'll buy a new shirt, buy new pants, just something that looks relatively fresh and put together. Something that says, hey, I cared enough to dress somewhat up for this, show respect for the employer. But then once you get hired, you kind of have this, you kind of feel this strict adherence to what the handbook says. Like, okay, if they say it's business casual, you're going to come in kind of at the top end of business casual. Like you'll be maybe a little bit overzealous. And it depends on how much of the office you've seen before. Like if you know people that are there and know what they wear, you can kind of meet halfway in between. But you kind of have this tendency to go as strictly as possible by the book, and then just kind of get the lay of the land once you're in there. And that evolution that you talked about, like that is fun to see in a new employee. Like they'll come in the first day looking like a goober, just like they'll be in like these really nice like Italian loafers or Italian dress shoes, and really like pressed starch slacks, a button up that is buttoned all the way to the top, possibly even with a tie, and having their hair like super nicely done, clean shaven, all that kind of stuff. And then if you are in a fairly relaxed environment, by the end of the week or the beginning of the next week, they will be in, like you said, jean shorts, Slayer shirt, greasy ponytail hair, and a week of stubble. So it's kind of funny to see that happen.
See, my day-to-day is like khakis and a button-down sports shirt. And that's like that seems to be my set point. Like if I wore shorts and a t-shirt to work on Friday because it was like right after the big push, and it was just half the people were not in the office, and I was only going to go into the office for part of the day to get a couple things done, and I was like, I'm just going to wear shorts and sandals and a t-shirt into the office, and I felt naked the whole day, but at the same time like. The suit that I wear to the interview is the best you're going to see me for the entire time I work there.
Right, absolutely. And you also kind of bring up a good point of if even if you have a strict work schedule or strict work standards for dress code, like there is a little bit of wiggle room in there. Like there are some times where it's like it's a really weird off day, like half the office is out of the office. And it really kind of goes to like how casual the day is going to be. Are there any like outdoor activities planned? Like you have a work picnic or something. The rules kind of go out the window a little bit on that one. It also depends on how many people are going to see you. Because I've had that many times before where I worked at a place that had, some requirements, but, not too many, but enough that like I couldn't get away with like flip-flops or like a hoodie, things like that. But there are some days where it's like, I know that nobody's going to see me, so I'm going to kind of bend the rules a little bit. And without fail, the day that happens is the day that somebody high up in the company wants to see me for a meeting.
Then the CEO is
Jesus
like,
Christ.
what I need to do today is talk to Derek.
Exactly. And most of the time it's kind of turned out well, because they're like, kind of like the cut of your jib, like that's not the cut of your shorts. Those are really, really high. But I like the fact that you feel confident
that's
in them.
uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Absolutely. Except for me. I mean, I was free flowing and unrestrained. So I felt great, but very, very drafty. So no swampiness that day, unlike every other day that I exist. No, but so have you ever? Obviously, we talked about you bending the rules on this one. have you found yourself bending the rules in the past, like either just to kind of fight the man, or just because you thought you could get away with it?
For me, I am generally the man, so that's kind of the problem.
You are generally the muscle, the enforcer of said things.
But then again, like, I have specifically chosen throughout my career to work in places where what I normally wear is also the dress code. So I'm sort of fitting myself in to the situation where it's like, look, I came pre-prepared with an entire wardrobe of clothes that fit the dress code at this particular establishment. Like, if I were to get a job in banking in England, where like the black 3-piece banker suit is de rigueur, I would be completely fucked because. Right. As we said before, like, suits for me are going to have to be bespoke, and I would have to make primo dinero in order to be able to pull that shit off.
Or you get one, and then you eat your lunch very, very carefully
every day,
and keep Febreze on hand. And you can basically get a full week out of that suit, and then have it dry cleaned on the weekend. And obviously that's fraught with all sorts of problems, but I think you could possibly. I mean, shit, I do it with jeans. Like, I have 3 pairs of jeans, but sometimes one pair of jeans may make it the whole week. You never know.
Oh, no, Derek.
I mean, if I didn't drop mustard on them or shit in them, I mean, by and large, nobody's getting close enough to notice. That's all I'm saying.
There's that whole thing where, like, the designers talk about how you shouldn't actually launder your denim, and they're just like, because I've seen this, and it's the most terrible thing that I've seen in recent memory, where they're like, yeah, if the jeans begin to get an odor about them, you just fold them up, put them in a bag in the freezer overnight, and that will fix the problem.
I remember hearing that. And I'm like,
you know what will fix the problem is washing your goddamn clothes, you nasty monster.
Because, yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, if it's literally just like the odor of the outdoors or something like that, sure, sticking them in a bag, putting them in the freezer might be enough to kind of knock it down a little bit. But, I mean, they're not going to clean mustard off of it or... I mean, okay, I guess I'm being telling here. Apparently, like, mustard is like my greatest fear.
I was going to say, do you just eat fucking hot dogs every day constantly? Or just like, yes, beautiful yellow mustard. No! Not again!
Yeah, I think I'm drumming up some unconscious fears here. Or subconscious fears, but yeah, I never really understood that. Like, I get it from like I guess kind of like a chemical or whatever perspective that it could kill, the bacteria that are causing the scents.
Or just put them into a deep slumber.
Oh, that's a good point. You're just kind of putting them in cryostasis, and so you put them in cryostasis, you wear it for a week, keep doing that over and over, and they're just accumulating. And then the 1 week you forget to do that, like, you're gonna be walking into the office, and all of a sudden this like 30-foot radius of stink is just going to start emanating.
I was gonna say, at that point, I think the genes become sentient and just leave without you.
The bacteria have completely overtaken the genes, and they're no longer genes with bacteria on them. They are living bacteria that happen to be
have taken over the gene,
taken over the genes.
Oh God!
Yes, these are my germ genes. They smell terrible, but you know what? I'm all about culture.
Oh no! All right, Derek, I need to go get a hot dog. Want to take a trip to accounting?
Yeah, we'll stop by the canteen on the way.
Excellent.
What's up, Home Trees? It's me, Chris.
And Corey.
And Donnie.
From the More Gooder Than podcast. For each episode, the three of us pick a thematically similar movie.
Like Dances with Wolves, The Last Samurai, and Avatar.
Or Deep Impact, Armageddon, and Space Cowboys.
And then duke it out until one movie is crowned most goodest.
3 movies into 1 movie leaves.
Ironically, Thunderdome was not the winner when we tackled the Mad Max trilogy.
You know why, right?
Yeah.
We don't need another hero!
Hey, where can people find More Gooder Than?
You can find us on Twitter at MGT Podcast, our website, mgtpodcast.com, and on Instagram and Facebook at More Gooder Than. We're in iTunes / Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, and any other podcatcher that you can think of. Remember, it's not just good, it's more gooder than.
So in news of the, I guess it's not weird, just one of those kind of things. Like the 2004 Miss Alabama, 2005 Miss America married her girlfriend at the Birmingham Museum of Art today.
Oh, well, that's cool as hell.
I'm like, Alabama every once in a while? Okay.
You're all right. Every now and again.
Every now.
You don't get it right often.
Every now and again. Every rare once in a while. We have highs and we have lows.
Hey, that's what life's all about. The high highs and the super, super low lows.
Speaking of high highs and low lows, want to get to an audience question?
Let's do it.
I want to take off April 20th. You know, 420, the weed day. I want to take off for it so I can smoke weed. But I live somewhere where it is not yet legalized, and taking off could be suspicious for work. How do I take off for 420 and not raise any eyebrows? Sent in by Smoke Sesh Stress in Selma.
Oh, boy. See, now this is a fun one. I was hoping that we would do this one in enough time to squeeze it in before 420. Yeah, this one.
You know me,
this
baby.
was kind of an interesting one. I worked at the university for a while, and for several years before that, I went to the University of Alabama, and very much so, like, there is no weed culture here. Obviously, it's, at the time, it was very illegal. It's still illegal now, both in this case federally and state. But there was a special glimmer of human generosity that came out on 420, where anybody who's not familiar with the University of Alabama, there's this big central area. They just call it the Quad, just like I guess every university has a quad area.
Yeah, even if they don't have anything that's got 4 sides to it,
they just call it a quad. But yeah, it is just this nice green open space in the middle of campus where people play frisbee, ultimate frisbee, or walk their dogs and probably not pick up their dog's poop.
So much dog poop.
But that's so much dog poop. So yeah, the cops on campus had this moment of, like I said, deep human kindness where on 420 people would go out to the Quad and just openly smoke weed. I don't want to.
Interesting.
Don't mean to out anybody, but yeah, they would. If somebody was doing it like blatantly, like oh, that's a nice little pun I made. I didn't mean to make that, but if they were kind of like towards like the main road or something, and they were just like like double fisting 2 spliffs and just like blowing clouds of marijuana smoke over the main drag, they probably drag. That's a
there you go again. You're on a roll.
All right, we have I think we've met our quota of unintended
Of
weed
really
jokes.
shitty weed puns.
But yeah, so if somebody was being like really blatant about it, they'd probably be like, "Hey, knock it out. go smoke with the other folks on the quad." But by and large, they were pretty chill about it, and that was nice because normally the cops around the university are anything but chill. They are on high alert all the time. But yeah, that was a wonderful thing to see because I don't partake myself just because I am completely straight-laced and I am obsessed or completely anxious about random drug tests. I've literally never been randomly drug tested in my life.
I was gonna say, I thought you had a 1997 Honda Civic that you had turned completely into a gravity bong, but I guess I was mistaken.
No, well, I did, but I did not partake. I
never
was
inhaled.
passing out the free love to other people, which by the say it certainly ripped. It ripped, but I did not have a rip myself. But wait, what would a good name for that be? Civic Wagon 97. Weed Wagon.
I was gonna say Civic Duty seems like it's not Civic Duty. Civic Doobie.
There we go. We got there. The Civic Doobie.
Yeah, just got to workshop a little bit. It's good.
It's a Civic Doobie in parentheses Weed Wagon.
Yeah,
there we go. But no, I am so paranoid about random drug testing that I would until it is completely legal across the United States, I will probably not be partaking. But yeah, I mean, I love the idea of a day that is totally devoted to just smoking weed. Like there's not an alcohol day. Like there's no I guess that's the other 364 days a year,
Tuesday.
I suppose. Yeah. No, okay, so back on topic. How can you ask off for 420? Like it's weird. I actually am asking off for 420 to go to a tech conference, as far as they know.
With
and I'm really wasting an opportunity here because it's in Tennessee, so it's not even in like a state where such could actually happen. But yeah, I think that the type of person you are goes a long way in knowing whether or not you can get away with it.
Yeah, if you seem stoned 24/7 anyway, they're going to be suspicious. But if you're just like pretty reg most days, then I think suspicion will be a little relaxed. My thinking on the subject is on 4/19, you pregame, but get some of that skunk weed that gives you the bad cough. Okay. And then you call into work. And you sound hoarse and you're coughing a lot, and then you've got a ready-made excuse that you're sick, and you just happen to be out sick on 420.
So you smoke like the worst skunk weed you can find and give yourself bronchitis. So essentially you can have a valid excuse to say, I am sick, I need to be out.
Or at least you sound sick. Because like the thing is, around here, and if it's the Selma that I'm thinking of, there's so little weed culture that most people are just not even going to necessarily think about it.
I agree with that.
Like, if you're just like, oh, hey, yo, I'm going to be out on Thursday. Like,
maybe you shouldn't say yo. Like,
maybe not. If you're like, oh, hey, Jim.
Hey, man, I'm going to be out on Thursday, man. Just not do anything in particular. I got some appointments, jointments.
Yeah, that might give you away. I don't know. If you're the guy in the office that makes weed puns constantly, they're probably going to know that there's something up when you're like, oh, I'm so sick. I think I might be out tomorrow. It's 420, right? Yeah, tomorrow. April 20th.
It's April 20th. I had
no
clue.
idea.
So I think that you can definitely provide some sort of like some sort of smoke screen for this. So on the day, Jesus. I swear to Christ, I am not attempting to make these. Like, I couldn't make a weed pun if I tried. These are just all completely accidental. Anyway, so I think that you could definitely come up with some sort of excuse, some sort of doctor's appointment, and then you have to plan in advance a little bit. So I think that, listening to this answer, if you were hoping for an actual applicable help for this upcoming weed celebration, I think you're a little too late. But yeah, if you schedule in advance some sort of really embarrassing test at a doctor's office, some sort of like proctology exam.
I was going to say, I got to get the prostate exam. It's time. But just don't say that you're going to Dr. Feelgood, because that's going to be like it's going to go either way, not good for you. And people are going to be suspicious one way or the other.
Yeah, I think, you could have like some really weird procedure being done. And I think that if it is adequately embarrassing enough, I think that the office will just completely, they'll feel sorry for you. It's like, oh God, of course you may have to have you may hear your boss express, oh yeah, I had one of those, some guy was 3 knuckles deep in me last week. I feel your pain. So you may get that uncomfortable interaction. But I think overall, yeah, you could probably get away with it. You could say you have some sort of some other weird test, but
no, y'all, I gotta go to the urologist tomorrow in order to get my dingus looked at on account of I got the erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be checking up on on how your appointment about your dingus went.
Although then you might have like a really uncomfortably close conversation with your boss, especially if he's like a guy in his late 40s to mid 60s.
Right. All of a sudden, you hear him walking up behind you, or maybe not walking up behind you, because that adds like an extra layer of creepiness to it. But like he'll kind of want to talk to you kind of clandestinely and be like, hey, I've got a few extra of these. Do you want some? They'll help with your problem. And he just gives you like a bottle of blue pills.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I cannot count the number of times it's happened to me. And it's always really odd whenever it happens. Of course, I take them.
Yeah.
And then immediately down the whole bottle.
Yeah.
While in the office.
There's nothing to get you out of work quite like priapism. Like, oh no, guys, I'm going to be out tomorrow on account of I've had this erection lasting more than 4 hours. We've all seen the commercial.
I mean, I could think of probably a couple worse things to get me out of work, but that's top of the list. My God. Oh. Okay, back on track. Now we're talking about erectile dysfunction. So what else? What else can we? Now, family members dying. That's probably not going to do it, because
there's only so many times your Aunt Marijuana can pass away before it begins to get suspicious. Like year 3, there's a problem.
Yeah, if you say that your aunt Margaret Jane is getting cremated, something, I think they may kind of put connect the dots on that one. But no.
So my thought is we do a flip, and you just bring brownies to the office, and then everybody's happy.
Oh no! Oh God!
Who doesn't like brownies?
I mean, I get it, but I think that, you know, even though, like I said, I'm not all up in the weeds culture, I think that if somebody brought in brownies on 420, I think I would have a hard time just taking them at face value and that they aren't laced with something. And it's not like, you know, there'd be anything dangerous happening, but yeah, if I got some important meetings, I'm just gonna skip the brownies. That seems like a risk I don't want to take.
So this is a way that you can just get an entire pan of brownies to yourself. So I think this is a win-win. Like, you don't even have to put anything in the brownies. You just make brownies. You bring them to work on 420. You say, "Hey, everybody, I brought brownies,"
And then you wink.
and then you wink real broad, like wink,
Right.
wink, and nobody eats the brownies, and then you got a whole pan of brownies to yourself.
And then, you know, if they decide to like be assholes and drug test you, and you're like, "Nah, man, this is just brownies. This is just lunch.
This is the good shit, you know, double chocolate chunk, man."
Man, this is Duncan Hines, motherfucker. This is good.
All right, man. You want to take an issue from the internet?
Okay, and this is submitted by Small Paul 2. So I'm guessing that either this is Small Paul, the username was already taken, or this is the son of Small Paul. So Small Paul the second.
I guess he wasn't so small.
God.
Go on.
He wasn't small because of Viagra. Or Cialis. I don't know which one's better. I mean, I find they both work pretty well.
Next episode. Compare and contrast.
This episode's sponsored by Cialis. My boss took credit for my work and now wants me to show her how to do the thing she just took credit for. I recently brought the experience of Python apps, Python with a capital P, not like, you know, snakes. Which, you know, we talked about cobras in the workplace, but
Exactly.
haven't really talked about like pythons or boa constrictors. Also, probably not great work pets. I recently brought the experience of Python apps to a department that has never had someone who can code before. I saw several instances in which these apps could help the department out, so I told my boss I could make them, and they definitely bettered the department. My boss just had her yearly review in which she presented my apps as her own ideas. She even literally put coded by, and then in parentheses, her name here. So I guess at her review, one of her bosses asked her to show how they were done to an executive. So instead of having me show them, my boss wants me to teach them just how to maintain and edit the code. On top of this, my boss has always been super strange in how I get assignments, as one of the apps does automation for the department. If she gets a request, she will blind carbon copy me, BCC me on emails, and ask that I do not reply directly to the people who want it done, rather go through her. So my boss wants me to do some overtime where I show her how to do it, but I'm totally frustrated that I was given basically zero credit for this. So I just want to let my boss go to the exec training with no idea of how to do any of this. Any advice on what to do in this situation?
Oh, no, you don't leave her stood up. That would be terrible. You have to instead show her how to do it incorrectly.
That is the much more effective approach.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to set this up so she looks like a complete asshole in front of all the folks upstairs. And I mean, this is almost a moral imperative.
I think you're right
at this point. Like, that kind of shit cannot and should not stand.
for any reason. Like, it doesn't even matter if it's something like you created like an email template or something. Like, if it is the best thing since sliced bread and, you know, everybody in the office is using it and they want to know who did it, if your boss takes credit for the shit that you did, that is some bullshit. You need to do something about it. But yeah, I think you're right. In this case, this is a special opportunity where you have a skill that they do not have, and if they are going to then demo this skill to other people, you can very carefully teach them wrong and then have them just fuck up royally in an important meeting. Have you ever actually had this happen before, Frank? Not this particular scenario. Obviously, all of us have had something like this where your boss takes credit for the work that you do. But have you ever had the opportunity to teach somebody something wrong?
I haven't had a boss take credit, but I have had a coworker that was essentially between me and the consumer, who would constantly like ask me the questions that she was asked. And then when I would respond, she would respond by like taking my email, copy pasting out the part that I responded to the question, and then, making it look like she had written the email. Right. And like dual-sided sort of sword, I eventually started writing things. Like part of me, I had like the instinct where I was like, I'm just going to start putting some real bad bullshit deep inside these emails. So when she copy pastes it, just blind copy paste it into the email, she's going to look like an asshole.
Because she's only going to read like the first couple of lines. Like,
oh yeah, she's going to read it, make sure that it looks good. But if you've got like a technical understanding between you and the consumer, and then she doesn't necessarily, you can definitely stick some stuff in there. And I did that a couple of times, but not really badly, just enough so that people would be like, what the fuck is she talking about? But at the same, like, eventually it was also just more convenient for me to go ahead and use her as a mouthpiece. Right. So I would write, she would ask me a question and I would just go ahead and write it up in the style of this is what I want delivered to the client. Right. As opposed to, because, there's a mode that you would use for communication with a coworker, and then there's mode that you would use for communication with a client, and I would just go ahead and couch everything in client communication speak, so that we weren't, as an organization, embarrassed by her just forwarding forward some shit that didn't need to be said to the client. Right. But every once in a while, I would just go ahead and, give her like a really bad wrong answer if I knew that I was going to get like a side conversation with the client, so that I could be like, I don't know where she got that.
Just that tiny little bit.
But if you actually need help with that, let me show you what we need to do here.
I think that's actually a pretty decent strategy that you had, because you occasionally got that gentle jab in whenever they would just kind of carte blanche just copy and paste this stuff over. But in the case where you knew that she had maybe some sort of connection or something that you didn't have, or she had a position that enabled her to speak a little bit more authoritatively, she obviously was using you, but in that case you were kind of using her. And so that even if it doesn't make everything okay, like it does not make it okay what she was doing, because if she is saying that, if she is acting like she is saying all these things and is knowledgeable about all these things, like that's still some supreme bullshit. But the fact that you were able to kind of turn it to your advantage a little bit, maybe a little bit of karmic justice, just a tad, just a little bit.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I more than once dangled her out to dry. Like, I would just use her as a cutout,
right, to
just, bullshit for time. Like, here's a completely cockamamie story, go ahead and send that out. Here's some horse shit I just pulled out, go ahead and send that out. So she's looking like an asshole while the client is getting more and more upset, while in the background I'm actually trying to get the problem fixed.
Right.
That I've done a couple of times, because if someone's going to be shady on me, I have absolutely no qualms about getting shady on them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for this person, I would definitely suggest, like, if at all possible, going in before she does. Just be, go ahead, get the gumption together and ask to talk to the CEO or whatever, who she's going to be demonstrating this to, and just knife her a little bit under the table and go ahead and show them all the stuff, so that when she comes in the next day, she looks like an asshole.
But I think you have to be a little bit careful about that, because if you go to the CEO or the CTO or whomever that she's going to be showing this to, who is to say? I mean, obviously, if they like talk to each of you in isolation and have you, talk about these things, yeah, you could eventually kind of ferret out who actually did it. But who's to say that that the CTO wouldn't? Maybe the CTO likes them or knows them a little bit more. They may not know you from Adam, and you come up and say, "Hey, here's the stuff that I've been working on. This is actually my stuff." Who's to say that you're not the one that copied her? It's kind of the whole kind of cheating scenario in class or something, where it's like, you ripped off somebody else's paper, but they think that the other person copied you, type of thing. So I mean, how can you even prove to them that you're the one that actually did this, other than, like I said, interviews and whatnot to ferret it out? But then it becomes a production. Like, then it becomes like an actual like departmental problem.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, like, what I would most do is subtly try to, provide her information that's going to lead to things not working.
Right.
Like, you tell her click here while you're actually clicking somewhere else.
Right.
Or tell her to run this when you're running something that, you have for the moment renamed.
Right. It's kind of like giving giving a kid the little steering wheel on their side of the car. And so, you tell them to turn left, and, they turn left, and then at the same time you turn left, so they think they're driving the car. But then if your baby's boss were to be in the car, and your baby is demonstrating how to drive, your baby would look like a complete asshole because they're not actually the ones driving.
Exactly.
So
and then, of course, the best one is just have a little script in there that when, she goes to run the file the next day, it goes ahead and starts writing to the screen, like, "Hi, my name is Carol. I didn't actually write any of this."
Do we have any non-joke answers for somebody going through this problem that might be able to otherwise fix their problem?
I don't have any non-joke answers because all my joke answers are the actual answer to the question. Like, I would legit fuck this person up in front of the CEO. I think the way you do it is you just get ready to quit, and you make sure that one of the packages that she runs is actually a really awesome and virulent virus.
Oh, God.
That is going to completely fuck up the entire network, and then you peace out.
I mean, bonus points for, like, cool guys don't look at explosions. Like, it may not be an actual explosion, but as you walk away from the office, like, know that the entire office is grinding to a halt. But we were watching some show today about, like, something from the mid-'90s where some guy did exactly that. Like, he put, like, some not necessarily in this scenario, but he put a kill switch in the code, and he went to jail for like 30 years. So so it's funny. Sure, you will get a laugh, but I believe the penal system will get the last laugh on that one.
The penal system always gets the last laugh. But mostly because it sounds a lot like penis.
That's why I laugh at it.
Want to punch the clock, Derek?
Oh, let's punch the clock. If you have any questions you'd like for us to answer on air, send them to questions@WLIcast.com. You can also visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/WLIcast or on Twitter at WLImbalance and use the hashtag WLIcast.
This has been the Work-Life Imbalance Podcast. I'm Frank Eastman.
And I'm Derek Lewis.
And with that, I think we're going to have to transfer you.
I don't think my stoned outro really read very well. I think they might have thought I maybe had a stroke.
Yeah. Derek was just really constipated at the outro right there. That was...
Gross.